All right, everybody. So, I'd mentioned recently that we were going to be cutting down on gun content, but I did allow myself the loophole, if you will, that if I found something really interesting, maybe I would do that. And so this is also going to tie into something else that I've decided to do with the channel, which is I'm going to do, if it's something interesting here and there that's firearm related. But as far as accessories, I've applied for the, the affiliate program on Amazon. Because a lot of the holsters, the knives, a lot of the things I review, even with motorcycle stuff, you know, some of the foot pegs, what's the word I'm looking for? Like the crash protection, all that kind of stuff. You know, those are things I got from Amazon. And so tail tidies, things like that. So a lot of the stuff I review came from Amazon. So I can't advertise firearms. I can't give a link to the gun store I bought it because that's promoting the sales of a firearm, even though it's legal, but whatever, they don't want that. But as far as accessories, red dot sights, optics, holsters, you know, accessories that are readily available on Amazon, I can provide an affiliate link, and if you click the link and buy it, I get a small cut. So maybe there's a way I can offset the lack of monetization on gun videos, but maybe on the other stuff, it'll help drive that. So as an experiment, I'm going to do a few here and there and see what happens. This is one of those, and this is one of the ones that falls under the, is it really interesting? So I have been looking at this for 10 years or so. I've always thought they were cool, never got around to getting one because they're a little bit pricey. But I finally decided to go ahead and get one. It's from a company called, I think it's called Chiappa. Some people say Chiappa, it's Italian. I'm thinking Chianti is spelled with CH, whereas Chow, CH sound, but it's not, doesn't have an H. So I'm going to say that that's Chiappa. I have gone and gotten this. It's a Rhino 40DS. So first of all, just go through the unboxing so I can clear up some room here and then compare it to my two other 4-inch 357 Magnum revolvers and show you what the differences are and what's kind of cool about this. So it comes with a really nice heavy-duty trigger lock. It comes with the manual, comes with a bore brush, comes with a bunch of moon clips, which you can use as speed loaders. I don't use them because I'm not, I use speed strips. If I'm carrying extra rounds, these are great because you can reload them fast, but it's not like you can carry that around in your pocket loaded with 6 shells. So I use the speed strips. But you got all your, you get some load manual and all your kind of stuff in here. And all the basic stuff it should come with. So there's your box. It is lockable. Go through some safety checks real quick before we get into the guns. This and what I'm going to compare it to. 6-shot, 357, empty. And the ones I'm going to be comparing it to. EAA Vindicator. I know it's spelled Windicator. Keep in mind, it's German. Volkswagen, they pronounce it backwards from what we do, or I guess we're the ones pronouncing it backwards. And then I've also got a 4-inch Ruger GP100, which is, again, 4-inch, 4-inch, 4-inch. They're all 6-shot 357 Magnums, which means you can also shoot 38 special out of them. These are what you would consider traditional. This is radically different. And I wanted this for so long, I just never got around to getting one. And what actually prompted me and reminded me the other day was I started watching the show The Expanse on Amazon Prime. Really good TV show. And Tom Jane's character in the first season, he's a cop on Mars or something like that. So they're way in the future. But he carries one of these. And they use this in movies a lot because it looks so futuristic. So they're like, we need a handgun, a prop gun that looks futuristic. They get this. So what's so different about it? Is it just that it looks goofy? No, although it does. Here's the difference. Couple things. This is your traditional revolver. This is no different from this or a Colt Python or the Smith or Taurus. Everybody has been making revolvers going back, in one form or another, the better part of 2 centuries. You have your cylinder. You have, in this case, double action and a single action trigger. So double action is pulling the trigger, and the first action is it rotates to the next cylinder, to the next round. And then the second action is dropping the hammer. The hammer drops, hits the firing pin, hits the primer, goes boom, out the top cylinder. Single action is you pull it back and it cocks it. And now you'll notice that trigger moving. I now have a very short, crisp trigger pull, which on the GP100 is a very nice. Same thing here. We've got our double action, rotate, drop, 1, 2, or single action. Decent trigger, nowhere near as good as the Ruger. What do these both have in common? The bullet, in common with every other revolver you've probably ever seen, is that the hammer strikes up here and whatever cylinder is on the top comes out the barrel. Now, what does that do? What that does is look at where my hand is, okay? Look at where the barrel is. If I were to extend this line, it's up here. That is a good 2 inches above my thumb, and it's 3.5 inches or so above my palm. Same thing here. If the center line of my palm, so if I'm holding this and you look at kind of the line from my wrist, the barrel is way the hell up here. So what happens? The recoil, people always think like, oh, the recoil pushes up. No. I don't know if it's the second or third, Newton's third law of motion. An object at rest wants to stay at rest. An object in motion wants to stay in motion. That bullet is at rest. When the primer goes off, there's a boom. That pressure builds and it forces the bullet straight out. The recoil pressure is coming straight back. But because it's up high and I'm holding it down low, when it comes back, it acts as a lever and the recoil does that. That's called muzzle flip. And there's ways to mitigate that by choking up and trying to hold closer to the bore. Some guns, I don't have it here, but my Taurus 44 mag has a ported barrel. So the hot gas shoots out the top and acts like a jet engine, like a rocket engine, to help push that down to mitigate some of that risk. But that is where your muzzle rise comes from. Why is it a problem? Because this jumps in your hand, and now you're, instead of if you were shooting down range and the gun comes up, you're now shooting 5 feet over the top of your target. You have to put it back down, realign your sights for the second shot. And when you're trying to do that fast, you don't, because the gun's doing this, your shots can be all over the place. It takes a lot of practice to get double taps or rapid follow-up shots on target. And the bigger the caliber, the more it kicks. When you have a smaller, like if this was a 2-inch stubby or a lightweight, it's going to kick even more. My Taurus 38 Special, I've got a 6-shot model 856. Same thing. Bore axis is up high, your hand's down low, and because it's such a light gun, it doesn't absorb the recoil as much. That gun moves a lot, and then you got to push it back down. That is the inherent problem with pretty much all handguns. Revolvers sit up high. Most of your pistols, with semi-automatic pistols, you also have the mass of the slide coming back and then stopping. So that stop wants to pull it back. But that motion is still linear. It's still going straight back. If you were holding it up here, it would go into your hand. But because you're holding the gun down here, when it hits, it acts like a lever and it forces the gun up. So Chiappa said, what if we put the firing mechanism and the barrel down low? Because if you look at this, you see where the barrel is, and you're like, well, wait, there's holes. How can that be? Well, because the barrel is actually down here. The grip is up high. When you look at that, it is now directly in line with the meat of my thumb, with the base of my thumb and my palm. So when you're holding this gun straight, that recoil comes straight back. There is almost no muzzle flip. The gun will jump a little bit in your hand, but when you watch videos of people firing this, the gun doesn't have any muzzle rise, especially, and that's with full power 357 loads. It might move 1/2 inch. With 38 specials, it feels like you're shooting a 22. These are mild with 38 specials, but you still get muzzle rise. You don't have any muzzle flip with this revolver. This, again, is a single double action. This has fully adjustable for elevation and windage, and it's got fiber optic sights. So nice sight picture. It's single and double action. So it's got a very wide, smooth trigger. There's no bite at any angle. All that pressure, you just pull it and go. It's very smooth. So we'll do a, whatchamacallit. I've already checked it 3 or 4 times, but I am a safety Nazi. So when you pull that trigger, it's very short. It's slightly stiffer. Let me compare. It's about the same trigger pull as that. It's smoother than the Ruger, and this is brand new. It's also shorter. So there's your double action. When you cock this, you'll notice a difference. When you cock this pistol, that hammer stays back. And when you pull the trigger, it drops it because this is what's hitting the pin, which hits the primer, which makes it go boom. Here, it's not. The hammer's down here. The hammer has to be down here because it's going to hit that bottom cylinder, make the boom, and the bullet going to come out down there. So this is merely for pushing down and cocking it, and then it returns up. There's a warning right there. That thing pops up. That red nubbin pops up to let you know that is charged and ready to go. So you have a visual, and if you were to put your thumb on it, you can feel that in the dark. So you can still use that to drop the hammer safely, just like you can on another revolver. However, the single action on this is unlike anything. This is like a finely tuned 1911 trigger. You have to try this pistol to understand it. It is so light, so crisp, that feels like a mouse button. It feels like it's like a 2-pound trigger. There's no creep. You just push on it and it goes boom. It goes click. This grip, very comfortable. And this is what I like about this thing. It just looks gnarly. That's just a really cool looking revolver. But I like the adjustable sights. The recoil mitigation, it does not shoot like any revolver you've ever shot. It's a unique experience, and I cannot wait to get this to the range this weekend. And we'll do I'll do a follow-up discussion about it later. The grip is extremely comfortable. It's solid walnut. You can get different grips with finger grooves and rubber grips and stuff like that. But it lets you hold up. It lets you choke up so high to where that bore is almost pointing into your palm, not 3 inches above, 3.5 inches above. What else? Let's talk about the weight. Now you look at this thing and you're like, oh, that's a beast, right? Well, to that I say, you be wrong. So let's pull out a little scale. Come on. Turn on. So let's start with this guy. It looks like the smallest one. We are at 2 pounds, 3 5/8 ounces. So we're looking at, what's that work out to be? 2 pounds is 32 ounces. That's funny because the website lists this as 30 ounces. That's not accurate. That's why I wanted to get the scale out. So we've got 32 ounces plus 3, so 35 5/8 ounces on a claimed 30-ounce pistol. Sorry, revolver. The Ruger GP100, they claim 40 ounces. So we are at 2 pounds and 12 5/8 ounces. So that means 32 ounces plus 12 is 44 ounces and 5/8. All right, so we are actually at 44 ounces. That's if this scale is accurate. So, but at least you'll get the idea of how they compare to each other. So this big boy, 2 1/7/8. This, despite all that metal, despite this thing looking like and feeling like it's built like a tank, is lighter than this little guy. That's what's really cool about this. So you're going to get the lightweight pistol. You could carry this. This weighs not much more than a Glock, like a Glock 19 fully loaded. Now, these don't have ammo in it, but they're 6 rounds, so they're all going to add the exact same amount of weight. But that's going to put you kind of on par with maybe a little bit heavier than a Glock 19. Of course, the Glock's going to have a lot more rounds, but you got 6 rounds of 357 Magnum versus the 9mm. 357 Mag is a lot more power. We're talking double the power, roughly. So that I like that. This is much lighter than it looks. And they sell these in a 6-inch, 5-inch, the 4-inch, 3-inch, and a 2-inch stubby. So you can get it lighter or longer. You can get them in different finishes. They've got gold. They've got this iridium type color. They've got chromed, or not chrome, well, they might have a chrome one, but they've also got like more of a stainless steel, although but this is not stainless steel, so it's that light color. But the reason this is so light is because this is all a high-tech aircraft grade aircraft aluminum. So whether it's T7 or T6, something like that, some kind of an alloy they came up with. The barrel insert is steel. The backing recoil plate, that's steel. Of course, some of the other parts internally are steel. But this pistol, despite its size, despite all that metal, is lighter by far. I mean, it's more than a pound lighter. Well, it's about a pound lighter, right? What was this one? 2.4 pounds. This was 1.7-ish. So yeah, 3/4 of a pound lighter than that. And it's a couple ounces lighter than this little guy. So very cool gun. I am going to be excited to shoot this. The one thing is, if you do get a chance to shoot one of these, here's the one downside that I've been able to find. So you're talking about the cylinder firing out the bottom and out the here. So normally that's up here. So people who like to hold their thumbs out here, your thumb is going to be right next to that. There's always a gap. There's always a cylinder gap between the cylinder and the barrel. And some have more than others, but there's always a bit of pressure and gas. When you see one of these shoot in slow motion, you see most of the flash comes out the end, but you do see a little bit here. There will be some coming out the sides. And when your thumb is right there, you're going to burn your thumb. I don't shoot that way. I never have shot with the thumb fully forward. I've always taken my hand and I wrap around and I curl that thumb over that thumb. That just gives me a nice secure grip. Those that have seen me shoot know that this boy can shoot a handgun. And so that has just always worked for me. So I should not have that problem. But if you do like to shoot with the thumb forward and this thumb forward and pointing at your target, don't do that with this gun. You'll learn very quick if that is your stance. You'll need to adjust your grip. I don't have to, so it's not a problem for me. I just figured I would mention it. But that is the Chiappa Rhino 40DS. Oh, also, 357-38 Special. You can also get this in 9mm and I believe 40 Smith & Wesson. I don't know if they have other semi-auto pistol calibers besides 9 and 40. I don't know that I've seen a 45 ACP. I know I haven't seen a 10mm, but they come in all different finishes. There's a bunch of different versions of these. I got this one up in Gainesville, Georgia Gun Store for like $971 brand new. Out the door after taxes was about $1,000, a little over that. But you can get these if you can find them in all different configurations. If you want something that's just different and a cool conversation piece, as well as having all these nice adjustable sights, lightweight for its size, and being able to shoot full power 357 mag loads with almost no muzzle rise. I'll get a video of me when I shoot it at the range just to show you how little muzzle rise there is. I'll put 3 rounds of 38 Special. I'll try to do a slow-mo, like shoot it at 240 frames a second with my iPhone, and then shoot it 3 rounds with 38 Specials, just so you can see how little muzzle rise there is. I think you're going to be really impressed. But the way this thing is supposed to shoot is phenomenal. I love the way that it fits in the hand. It really is a good grip. You look at that and you're like, that's not going to be a good grip. It looks like you're holding a broom handle or something. It's just not going to be as comfortable as this. But I'm telling you, it's going to be great. That's nice and wide. So all that force, it still has recoil. It's just not going to be flipping. It's going to come straight back into your hand, and your hand and your wrist are straight. So it's going to come back like this, not go up like that. It's not going to be flipping. It's going to come back at you. And it's nice and wide and smooth. There's nothing on here to bite at you. It's really well rounded. There's no hard creases. So all that force is going to be very nicely, evenly, smoothly distributed right into the base of your palm. Can't wait. So I've been really excited to get this. Like I said, I've been thinking about it for about a decade, and I just said, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to get it. Had a little extra money come my way that I wasn't expecting, and said, you know what? That's going to cover 2/3 of this, so I'm just going to go ahead and throw at it. Because normally I can afford what I want, but I don't normally spend that kind of money on a revolver. But I figured, you know what? I'm going to take that money I got and I'm going to go ahead and pick this bad boy up. So it's going to be a nice addition to my collection. This isn't all my revolvers. I got single action 22s. I've got small carry guns, Ruger LCR. I've got a Taurus 856. I got a Taurus M44, which is a 6.5-inch ported 44 mag. I think there's some other stuff in there as well. But I have nothing like that. And this thing, I think, is going to be an absolute joy to shoot. So stay tuned. I'm not going to be doing a lot of gun reviews, like I said, but I said I would do one if it was really cool. And I think this qualifies. So there you have it. The Chiappa Rhino 40DS and 357 Magnum, made in Italy. There you have it. Let me know what your thoughts. Comment and like. If I'm going to make any money off this thing, if they let me monetize it, it needs distribution, and you need comments to do that. So anywhere, folks, take care.